inviting me here, and thank you for your time. My name is Yossi. The ones of you that didn't hear me during the last 3 years, I'm a family physician. I'm still practicing, telling people to open their mouth and take a deep breath. Most of my time during the last 10 years, I was in the technology and medicine field. During the last 4 years, I was the founder and the manager of one of the largest digital health platforms worldwide, in the second largest health maintenance organization in the world, which is called Clalit. And what I want to speak today is about outcomes. You know, the e-health and the mobile health and the telecare world suffers from a lot of buzz and a lot of hype and very little real-world evidence. And this is what my presentation is going to concentrate on. It's about the real-world evidence. How to start where most of the world is starting today, is chronic disease management. How to move from chronic disease management to patient relationship management, and from them to outcomes. During the last year, I'm the head of a company named Health Insight, which is one of the sole companies worldwide which specialize in strategy and realization of e-health, mobile health, and telecare solutions. We've developed a unique methodology how to identify white spaces, how to design new touch points, and then how to project manage them in order to be able to measure them and scale them. And I will give 2 examples of the companies we escort in such a field. As I told you, probably most of you know it, there are more than 100,000 health applications in the App Store. Yet, if we look, if these applications are really engaging people, because this is the aim. The aim is not technology. The aim is to engage people with their health, because this is the must-have of overcoming compliance issues, and then from that to provide better outcomes and better health. So the answer is no. People, though they have all the tools available in one click, this is the standard mobile health life cycle. After 1 day, almost 40% of the people stop using the app that they downloaded. After 1 week, 50% of the people stop using it. And within 6 months, 96% of the people that downloaded an app, a health app, stop using it. It's worse than drugs. Because persuading people to engage with their health is much more complicated than clicking like. Clicking like, it's a fun to engage with your health, and especially to engage with your health over time, is demanding by far more resources from every one of us. So how do we go from volume to value? And this is a table that I've captured from an Ernst & Young review. And I think we would all agree about going from product-centric to customer-centric. We would all agree about going from revenue, from focusing on revenue and margins, to go to healthcare outcomes. But how actually do you make this a reality? And the one strategy that I think we all have to bear in our minds is that healthcare is going to switch from a product-oriented to solutions. I know there are many pharmaceutical company representatives here in the hall, and if all the players in the healthcare market won't understand that the customers are now seeking something that goes beyond the chemical tablet that is within the place where they put it in the box. They are looking for a solution, whether it's a pharmaceutical company or a medical device company. They are looking for an ecosystem that gives them more than just the pill. I want to tell you a personal story about how would the future scenario look like in order to create this kind of engagement. This is my youngest child. He's 3.5 years old. 2 months ago, when I took this picture, a young, healthy child, from being completely healthy within 2 hours, he had a very swollen area over an area which is called temporomandibular joint. You can see it in the picture. I can't, but you can see it. One side is not the same as the other. And a fever of more than 40%, 40 degrees Celsius. Even I'm a doctor, I felt very insecure in this situation. What traditional medicine offers is, okay, you have to go to the emergency room. But this wasn't my experience with my child, because what I did is logged into my personal health record, clicked on a service that we have in Israel which is called Pediatrician Online, saw an expert pediatrician via a video conference tool. He saw the child. He told me, listen, Yossi, there are 3 possibilities. Instead of sending you now to the emergency room, so you will wait there for 3 hours and then get being treated, and you will waste all your night, I will send you now a nurse to your home that will give the child an IV augmentin. It's an antibiotic, and let's see in the morning what happens. And that's exactly what happened. 11 o'clock in the night, within 1 hour, the child was after getting its medication. We all went to sleep, and in the morning the child felt much, much better. And I'm much sure that these kinds of experience, all of you, if you had experienced such an experience, you would say, okay, this kind of experience is engaging. Interactive personalized care, or how I call it IPC, is the milestones, the cornerstones of creating a system that is engaging, is first to give the patient his data, and to give it in a manner that it is understandable by the patient. Upon the data, to give the patient a personalized, actionable care plan, accompanied by incentive management, by social reinforcement networking, and by what I call hybrid health, is the connection between professional human resources and the patient being able to connect with these professional human resources over digital platforms. And these cornerstones are what delivers outcomes, as I will show you in the next 8 minutes with 2 examples that demonstrate the transfer from buzz to real-world evidence. The first is a company named Hilarium, which developed a patient relationship management platform, which again has all the components that I've just described. Showing the patient his data, explaining him what he sees, giving him a personalized, actionable care plan, giving him incentives, connecting him to social reinforcement network with the ability to speak to a real human physician. The system has two views. It has a view to the patient, both in the web and in cellular platforms, and a caregiver view, so the physician or the nurse can follow the real action, how the patient complies with the real actionable care plan. The daily patient activation is based upon setting personalized goals, recommendation, and step-by-step adoption that the system adopts to what the patient really is doing and not doing. And this is the outcomes that I talked to you about. If we compare 2011 and 2012, in 2012 you can see the growth. More than 200 new users per week joined this plan. 61% of the users that joined the plan didn't complete it. We call it inactive users. But 39% completed the program. And if we look, 39% were active users, and actually 50% of them completed the program. 63% were female. 40% of the participants were above the age of 50, so it's not just, technology geeks. And if we look at the completers' outcomes, we can see that in all the measures, cardiovascular measures, fasting glucose, BMI above 30, LDL cholesterol, systolic blood pressure above 140, and stop smoking, in all these parameters, there were significant differences. 6% of the people reduced their fasting glucose. 12% of the people reduced their BMI below 30. 29% of the people reduced their LDL cholesterol below 130. And again, if I didn't tell you it was a digital platform that reached these outcomes, you would thought that I'm speaking about a drug. And yes, it is a kind of a drug. It is a medical intervention. The second example I want to speak about is medication adherence. You know that in the United States there are almost 150 million people taking medications, 700,000 accidental over or underdose emergencies each year, and only, I'm sorry for the writing going, because the presentation was moved from my computer to the computer upstairs, so 57% is the reported adherence on cardiovascular disease medications. If we look at the reasons why people do not adhere to their drugs, you can see from this slide that 70% of the reasons people do not adhere to their drugs is because of something to do with motivation or engagement. And this is where we collaborated with a company named MediSafe, and we had three mottos: to engage people, to analyze the data, and to act upon it. We've built a complete ecosystem that I will demonstrate in a second, that is doing personalization, that is doing the social layer, and that is connected to the patient's healthcare system, healthcare team. If you look at this app, you can see it's a digital pillbox where the patient can see the medication he takes or the medication he didn't take. There is also an adaptive information layer within the system that if, for example, the patient takes metformin, it knows, which is a drug for diabetes, it knows to prompt him to take also his vitamin B12. And the system is also connected to a caregiver, or within the family, or within the medical team. Each information, if the patient has, for example, his physician has wrote him a prescription, a personalized video is embedded within the application, within the platform, and it takes the information of the patient. It's not like everyone gets the same video. The video is tailored to the specific prescription of the patient. So I think the message is clear: personalization as a basic to engagement, insights through data. And this is where I come to the outcomes again. I want to show you this movie, which represents visually what happened after almost 100,000 people downloaded this platform and starting using it. Please play. You can see the red dots. Okay. No, he has to. You can see the red dots all over the world, and you can dive into these red dots to see in every town, in every gender in every town, what is the exact profile of taking all the medications that these people take. You can tell the ages, you can tell the gender, you can tell when they are not taking it, you can tell if they take the medication in the morning or didn't take it in the evening, and based upon this data, you can intervene. And what are the outcomes of this platform? Please go back to the presentation. The outcomes are, if we talked about 57 reported average adherence for diabetes, the reported average adherence with this platform is 88%. And I think these numbers talk for themselves. According to a recently published report in the United States, if patient would achieve a higher medication adherence rate, the system could save more than $30 billion over the next 10 years. I would like to end with a very unique article that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine just recently. And why it was unique, because the New England, probably many of you know it, it's a very, very traditional journal, professional journal, and it told the story of why Kodak got out of their business after 131 years of operations. And the story is that they didn't understood what their customers wanted. They thought customers wanted to get pictures over paper, and they didn't understand that customers wanted to get images. And when they didn't adapt, it was the sign that they are going to be out of business. And this is how this article ends. Doctors and hospitals who pay attention to the business they are actually in, defined by the outcomes their customers seek, will leave the doctors and hospitals who don't behind, captured in a Kodak moment. And this is the message for my presentation. Platforms that are only there, to say, okay, I have an app, and are not following the route for engagement, will not achieve outcomes. Thank you very much for your time, and